What are the best tunes in Marvel Strike Force to take to Gear Tier 18 in preparation for Dark Dimension 6? Is Hoarding as we know it finally coming to an end? And why does the staff of Marvel Strike Force keep leaving for Netflix? We're talking about these things as we delve into the mailbag to answer your questions on Mailbag Monday. And if you're ready for all of it, and you know what to do, Valley Club, find that like button and let's go smash it.
ValleyFlyin.
Hello, Valley Maniacs. Welcome back to the ValleyFlyin channel. I'm ValleyFlyin. Hope you're having a great day. In this video, it is Mailbag Monday, so we're delving into all of your mailbag questions from Discord. We're talking about the best tunes to take to Gear Tier 18. Are there any right now, or should you still be in a holding pattern? We're also talking about the exodus of Marvel Strike Force to Netflix. We had another game developer or a game director leave. What is up with this? I think I have some answers and we're going to discuss this in this video. But the first thing I do want to discuss is the hoarding. Is it coming to an end? We have a response from the Marvel Strike Force Players Voice movement. And if this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button for more great Marvel Strike Force content. At least 5 Marvel Strike Force videos per week on this channel with question and answer videos, news videos, everything else to help you in Marvel Strike Force. But without further ado, let's check out this post from Beta Ray Bill about the first official Marvel Strike Force Players Voice movement. So the first official movement of the elected Players Council happened today, and this was posted on the 13th of July. So this happened a few days ago. The Scopely team, including the senior management. As we continue to have these sessions, the goals are to be able to continue to communicate something out to the community as we can from each session. So stay tuned to this server. So again, the link for the Players Voice server is going to be down below in case you want to join that. There's a lot of members already, and there's a lot of great polls there to get your voice heard to the Marvel Strike Force devs. All right, so today's update is on 2 particular items. Note, character accessibility, which it seems like it's going to be good, and more details about the prior announcement of the Orb Hoarding event. So as far as what they say about character accessibility, they're committed to the most characters becoming available after initial release within 4 months, but no longer than 6 months. And their definition of availability isn't very clear here. That's not to mean they go directly into a store campaign node right away, which is what my definition of availability is. But it may appear as rewards in events or specific game modes to help keep commanders engaged for newer rewarding content. And I think they're kind of doing that. We've already seen a trend last year where we're not getting characters farmable in the traditional sense right away, but through these events, we're getting more and more shards for the newer characters as free-to-play players, but yeah, not in a traditional way. So this may already be going on. I hope they extend this, and I hope they become farmable in the traditional way in that 6-month ratio, in that 6-month window, but I'm not sure if that's what they're saying here. Exceptions to this rule include mode-specific exclusive like Big Time Spider-Man, super-skrulls, Quicksilver's another one of them, special places like Zombie Iron Man that are explicitly stated upon release. So I think that is a good thing. Hopefully we get that 6 months hitting that hard 6 months so that you won't go longer than that without being farmable in that traditional way. But again, their definition of being accessible and ours may be a little different there. So we'll see what this exactly means. Now, as far as hoarding, Orb Hoarding event shelved, and not just for July. It doesn't say they're going away totally, but they've been shelved, which means that they're not coming back anytime soon. The MSF player team is removing gold and training orb events. During our last Players Council meeting, we were able to commit to July, but have now put a stop to these reoccurring events, have no plan to run these in the future. More updates in the coming weeks. So all this stuff is very good. And I know there are some people wondering why this announcement was not included in Friday's blog post. Well, I know they work on these blog posts for a while. I think that's Archangel's major job is to make sure these blog posts are accurate and translated accurately into many different languages. So because this announcement came out on Thursday, I don't think they had enough time to include it in last week's blog post, but hopefully in this week's blog post or an emergency blog post before Friday's blog post comes out, hopefully we will get this official that there's no more hoarding events. But yeah, as of right now, not official, but sort of official, because pretty much everything that the Players Council communicates now, or the Players Voice movement communicates right now, is later officially communicated by Scopely. So I think this is just a timing thing, but yeah, in my opinion, this is official. Let me know your thoughts on the reduction of hoarding, or at least the shelving of hoarding events for the time being. Let's go into the mailbag to answer your questions from Discord. And the first question of the week, kudos to Scopely for fixing the gold crisis. Now, can they please fix the other end of the spectrum too? I'm talking about the training materials crisis. I have like 10 million gold. I want to spend it, but no training mats to use on it. One suggestion I have is to throw a training orb into the challenge, similar to what they do with the gold orb in the gold challenge. Keep on smashing. I would love that. The more resources, the better. Now, what I'm doing, and I haven't really had a lot of training mat issues for a little while. And I'm not sure if it's just because I'm not upgrading my Toons as often as I used to, or if I'm farming those nodes in the hard villains campaigns to get those training orbs every day. I think if you farm those every day, I think you get like a training orb every day. So it's not a lot, but over time it does add up, especially if you're getting other training orbs and other training materials from stuff. But yeah, anything that they're going to add more is a better solution. I do like the idea. I can't remember who said it, but adding some gold every time you blitz. They could add a training orb fragment or a training material every time you blitz as well. I think they added the stuff in the arena section to kind of mitigate that, but it's been so long since they've really addressed this. Yeah, I think the gold is in a good place at this point, but they can do a little more for these training mats and the training materials. All right. Hey, Valley, am I alone in thinking leaderboards are a good thing? Instead of having less, I wish every event had a leaderboard. If they stop doing leaderboards, they're not putting those payout rewards in the milestones. So we're missing out a ton of important resources like ISO 8, Blue 5. I'm hoping that they're going to be putting them in other resources, because that would be a major source of frustration for the community. And I don't think they want to do that right now, considering how fragile the temperament of the community is right now. People should look at them as bonus stuff, and bonus stuff is only to spend resources or money that they're comfortable doing. I will say that as the alliance leaderboards is something that should stop, and they shouldn't have things in the game that separates alliances and creates pressure on people. Am I alone in my thinking? I don't think you're necessarily wrong, but yeah, we need the ISO 8 blue. That's the major thing that I'm not happy with them removing the leaderboards. Obviously, it's good for these hoarding events, coupled with the announcement that they're going to stop doing these gold and training mat hoarding events. I think this is a good thing moving forward. The bad thing is, how are they going to replace the ISO 5? That is a huge bottleneck that we were getting from the leaderboards, and we really haven't had a good replacement for that yet. So I'm fine with them removing the leaderboards. I'm fine with them keeping the leaderboards as well, as long as the resources that we need, like ISO 8.5, is not only tied to the top end of the leaderboards. I think that's where the frustration is coming from. A lot of the good rewards, a lot of the resources that we need is not in that whole leaderboard. It's just for maybe 250 people or 100 people, and not for the majority of the community. I think that's where the frustration comes from. But hopefully with this stuff, there's a way that we could get the stuff back. Maybe there's going to be a specific event for ISO 8.5. It's tough. I know there's not a lot of people that have a big apocalypse now, but I think that a lot of light spenders and a lot of long-time players are going to be getting a big apocalypse this month based on all the events and stuff like that. So I don't know if he's too far away for some players, but it's too far away for me. So hopefully they reintroduce this. And I think that's a big thing with the leaderboards, is all that stuff. So yeah, hopefully they find a way to reintroduce this. Let me know what you think the best way for them to reintroduce this would be. Obviously not with leaderboards, because the majority of the community doesn't like that. But where would you like to see this ISO 8 brought back to our economy? All right. Hey, ValleyFlyin, I have a Gear Tier 18 questions. Which Toons are worth getting to Gear 18 first? So normally with these questions, it's all about use case. So if you have a Toon that you're using a lot and it's not doing the job, well, that should be one of the first characters that you should upgrade. With that said, though, Dark Dimension is a little different, because you want to get in there and either use the best Toons that's not gonna hinder what you're doing, so you're not wasting resources, or you're getting cheap Toons so you can get in there quickly and get the grand prize, which for Dark Dimension 6 is super-skrull. So let's go take a look at some of the recommendations here, because Gear 18 is all about Dark Dimension 6, in my opinion. All right, so this is the order that things are going here. So no restrictions for nodes 1 and 2. Global is 3 to 5, 6 to 8 is Cosmic. Next comes City. After that comes Legendary with no Horsemen. and then legendary and or apocalypse, including your horsemen. So this is a list of some of the characters that I would build up right now if I had the resources and I'm trying to get into Dark Dimension 6. Now, these aren't recommendations. I'm not recommending you build up these characters. Remember, if you're going in later, you're probably going to get access to better and better characters that will be better in these dark dimensions. So the more you wait, the less overlap with bad characters you're going to have. The longer you wait, though, the longer you're going to have to wait for super-skrull. So I think Apocalypse is a great choice. Let's talk about these and some backup characters in Global. Apocalypse is a great choice. Obviously you can go in without him. You don't need to have Apocalypse, but I think it makes it a lot easier. From what I've heard from the people that have been through Dark Dimension 6, it is very, very tough if you try to go without Apocalypse. Weaver still has some value now, but with the changing of Season 4 in Cosmic Crucible and Weaver being a non-factor as soon as Apocalypse is in your arena shard, she is losing value. So I don't know if this is going to be a recommendation for a couple months from now when I'm actually getting into Dark Dimension 6. But as of now, Weaver does still have a lot of value. We have a horseman character here, a horseman team character here in Nemesis. And the good thing about Nemesis gives redistributes energy or redistributes health to the entire team, not just in raid. So I think this is a great choice, kind of like that Minerva percent base damage you're getting with Nemesis here. Doom is losing value, yes, but still has a lot of value and helped a lot in the previous Dark Dimension. So if I were to go in right now, I would build Doom, and Quicksilver, of course, is a good character. Multiple game modes, helps in Crucible. I use him in the raids right now as we're waiting for that full Bifrost team. So Quicksilver has a lot of value for me. There are some other characters that we're going to get to in just a little bit, but let's continue down with Cosmic. So Val is designed for Dark Dimension 6. I think it would be silly to have this character with all these Dark Dimension 6 bonuses that also has value in the raids and not build up this character for Dark Dimension. So I think Val is one of my first choices there. Eternals do have a lot of value, but kind of like Spider Weaver, their value is going lower and lower and lower. Still valuable in arena if you don't have Apocalypse, but just like the Weaver, if you have Apocalypse in your arena shard, you're probably not going to be using the Eternals. Kang is a great character. I think this would be a lock for me. Val, I think, is a lock. Kang is a lock, and I think Apocalypse are locks. So those are the characters that I would build up confidently right now with gear tier 18. Dormammu is also another character that I think is great. Still has a lot of value. Doesn't have as much value in the raids because of the rules that incursion raids have, but still has a lot of value in the other game modes. And I still see him sometimes in arena and is necessary for what I'm trying to do in offense in Cosmic Crucible. So we have a lot of overlap building this character. Now, City's a tough section. All these characters I think are not going to be very valuable in about 6 months to a year from now. We got these new warriors here who previously the old new warriors had some value in the raids, not so much anymore with the Bifrost team. This is more of a Cosmic Crucible team, but how long are they going to be relevant in Cosmic Crucible with the new Season 4 not having that cascading rules go by? So this is what I would build right now. I wouldn't be building them up unless you are very close to entering the city section of Dark Dimension. If you're just entering Dark Dimension, you could go with some global characters or some non-trait characters for the first couple missions. And Spider-Man 2099, kind of in the same place as Weaver and the Eternals. They are losing value, but as of right now, they do have some value. Now, these non-legendary horsemen, you could use these exact same characters for the next section here, but I think Nova is a great lock for this choice. So is Nick Fury. Nick Fury's a raid character. So is Magneto. Both of these characters, I think, are locks for this section. Omega Red is still a very great plug-and-play character. Still has some value in War. One of the top 10 teams in War. Weapon X still is, and Weapon X is a great, Omega Red is a great plug-and-play character for a Cosmic Crucible. And of course, we got Shuri, one of the de facto leaders of the Wakandan team, and you need them for Cosmic Crucible, Chaos Theory, some other modes. So I think Shuri is a great pick for non-legendary horsemen as far as it goes, and for legendary, including Apocalypse. Well, Apocalypse and the 4 horsemen. I think you're still going to get value from there. So as far as my locks, again, Apocalypse, Val, Kang, and I think I still would build up Red Hulk and maybe Morgan Le Fay even without getting there. But every other character here I would wait on. Let's go look for some backup choices for these different sections. As far as global, well, you have your Rebirth characters here, you have your Invader characters here, and you have a couple of the Death Seed characters here. Those are what I would focus on if I'm not building one of the characters that I recommended. But you also could go very cheap with a character like Sabretooth or Shield Trooper, but I think the proper way to go is with one of these Invader characters, one of these Rebirth characters, or a Death Seed character. That's what I think is going to give you the most value right now. Now let's talk about Cosmic, and Cosmic has the Bifrost team. You have Kid Loki here, or Teen Loki here. You have Beta Ray, Bill, Sylvie is going to be here as well. So I think you have a lot of value in this Cosmic section here. You also have Hela. You also have super-skrull for your second run of Dark Convention 6, who I would recommend building up. You also have this Nowhere team, who is needed for the next legendary character who has not been announced yet. Is a very good war team. So I would go priority first would be the Bifrost team. After that, maybe some other Asgardians or Nowhere, but Bifrost is going to be my first choice here. You also go back old school and go Kestrel. Kestrel just seems to be like the other original characters in Marvel Strike Force that are just hanging around and still providing value. City's a tough section right now. Those are the characters that I would recommend, but other backup characters, you have Squirrel Girl, who a lot of people took into the previous Dark Dimension, still had a lot of value from there. Is very, very annoying if you are facing a big Squirrel Girl on War Defense or Cosmic Crucible Defense. There are ways around it, but still very annoying. Shang-Chi is another great character. Mr. Negative also has some plug-and-play value in War and Crucible, so you got some other options here, but City doesn't have a lot of great choices right now. As far as non-legendary horsemen, other than what I've already recommended, I wouldn't build up any of these characters. You got very expensive Iron Man and Doc Ock, and the legendary with Apocalypse and the Horseman there. Well, obviously those are the best characters, but if you want to save some resources and not overlap a few of the choices, well, you could bring Magneto and Fury. I think they are expensive, but still worth it because they're involved in the raids. You could still bring this Nova and any other characters that you haven't built up yet. You could fill out this spot with those characters. But these are my recommendations at this, or these are my picks right now. Again, not recommendations, but these are who I would build up if I had the resources right now, which I don't. Hey, Valley, I have an open ticket to support for the last 3 weeks. Nearly 300K worth of silver Cosmic Crucible credits when missing from my account. Zero response from support. What am I supposed to do? That really sucks. If support is not messaging you back, or like we talked about in chat this morning, you can't really submit your screenshot to them. What I would do, leave a message for me. I'll submit it to Cerebro and Archangel, Lordy, see if they could help you. I know there's players that they do help out. Leave me your player ID or DM me and I'll see if I can get that message to them, or you can message them directly. But if support's not helping you, and support's been very weird since they've shifted it to more automatic based. Sometimes before in the past, sometimes you could get a good customer service rep, sometimes not. Now you always have to deal with a bot and trying to get through it, and maybe you get to a live one there. But yeah, let me know. Hopefully I can help you with this, my brother. Hello, ValleyFlyin. Do you think it's time to update the Alpha, Beta, Gamma orbs? Oh my goodness, the time to update them was years ago. I don't know why they haven't done that yet, but yeah, they need to. Those orbs are so old. The raids are so old. Alpha, Beta, pretty boring. Gamma is still a little challenging, but not a fun raid considering the characters that we could use. So I think they should update the whole raid system, or not the whole raid system, but all the Greek raids. Just give it a little more challenge or a little more fun. Update the rewards because they suck, really. The raid rewards for the Greek raids really suck. Icarus was a nice addition to Raid Store, but he's so old now. He is old, but he's still relevant. So they added him while he's still relevant. The raid store and its orb section deserves an update, in my opinion. You could say the same for Arena, yeah. So all the orbs are pretty bad in the game. Once in a while, they update the Blitz orb and they add a character there and they open a bunch of Blitz orbs, and then I get the character at 7-star and then I don't open it for a while. The War orbs can have a little bit of an update as well. The Blitz store with all that purple gear, that hasn't been updated in a while. And Arena orbs, I mean, we've went through a few different characters added to different stores. Deathlock's still orb exclusive though, so they haven't updated all those characters for a while, all those stores for a while. So hopefully they do that soon. I have a question. Since the creative director for Marvel Strike Force left for Netflix, who do you think is going to hire the new guy? And any thoughts about? I have no idea who is like the hot new talent in the gaming industry, so they probably hire someone there. Hopefully they hire somebody good that's been playing Marvel Strike Force, that has idea of the strengths and the weaknesses of the game, and hopefully they're a dedicated player. I thought Sean Dugan was, and I thought you were actually talking about Jason Bender. And Jason Bender was the creative director of Marvel Strike Force for a while. If we go to his LinkedIn profile, though, you see that he was the creative director at Scopely and Marvel Strike Force from 2020 to 2022. I think he actually left before 2022, though. But yeah, he was a creative director. And I thought this was who you're talking about in the question. And I was like, oh, yeah, he left for a long time ago. They replaced him with Sean Dugan. But Sean Dugan, the former creative director that just left this month, is now a creative director at Netflix. So look at this position. He was the creative director from from November of 2021 to just this month. And coincidentally, we did an interview with both of these people. Both are at Netflix now. And I think the reason for the exodus of all these Scopely, formerly Fox Next employees, is because of this move that happened first. Amir Rahimi, he is the vice president of game studios at Netflix, but he was another person that I met back in the day when we were flown out to Los Angeles, visited the Fox Next studios. And if we look, he was the SVP and general manager of Los Angeles Fox Next until 2020. Then they were bought out by Scopely and was the president. And then in November of 2021, that is when he moved over to Netflix. So I'm assuming that he's bringing over his friends, all his talented friends that were working at Scopely, working at Fox Next. He's bringing over people that he knows that he could trust and has worked with in the past. And that's what I'm thinking is happening and why there's an exodus from Marvel Strike Force over to Netflix. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on who you are taking, if anybody, to Gear Tier 18 right now. Are you liking that we're ending hoarding, and what is going on with the character accessibility? Are we getting them farmable in 6 months, or are they going to continue to add these in different events and things like that? That is it, though. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was helpful for you. If you did, give it a like. It's free to you and it does help the channel. And if you want to see how to beat the current arena defense right now, make sure you check out the video up there. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your day. Hulk fist bump, ValleyFlyin out. Have a great one, Valley Club.